Hi everyone, it's Mrs. McInnes here. Welcome to lesson 5 in our set of lessons on simultaneous equations. So in today's lesson, what we're going to be looking at is simultaneous equations in a real life context. Okay, so this will be situations where we have some unknown variables and we're going to have to represent the situation by writing out an equation, and then we're solving our simultaneous equations to find the values of our variables. So we have example 6 here. A builder buys bags of cement and bags of sand to mix together into concrete. We have 4 bags of cement and 6 bags of sand cost £39. We then have that 3 bags of cement and 4 bags of sand cost £28. And the question is asking us to find the cost of 1 bag of cement and 1 bag of sand. So here we have 2 different situations where we have bags of cement and bags of sand and a total cost. So we can use those 2 pieces of information to write ourselves 2 equations, and then we can solve those simultaneously to find the cost of 1 bag of cement and 1 bag of sand. So the first thing you're going to want to do in these types of questions is assign a letter to your unknown variables. So I'm just going to go really simply for C and S for cement and then sand, but I'm just going to write it on the top of my page here. So a bag of cement, I'm going to give that the letter C, and then a bag of sand, I'm going to give that letter S. You can use any letters that you want. You could use X and Y, anything, it doesn't matter, as long as you know what each letter represents in the question. Okay, so let's take our first situation. 4 bags of cement and 6 bags of sand cost £39. So we would write that as 4C plus 6S equals 39. Okay, so that would be equation number 1. And then we were also told that 3 bags of cement and 4 bags of sand cost £28. So we've then got 3C plus 4S equals £28. And that will now be equation number 2. Okay, so from here we know how to do this. This is what you were looking at in the previous lesson, where we're solving for one of our letters first by eliminating the other letter. So in this case, I'm going to go for eliminating the letter C. So I'm going to multiply my top equation by 3 and my bottom equation by 4, because I want these both to say 12C so that I can eliminate them. Okay, so my first equation times 3, that gives me 12C plus 18S equals 117. And I'm going to call that now equation 3. Our second equation times 4, so that's going to now give us 12C plus 16S equals 112. And that's now going to be equation 4. Okay, so these are the 2 equations I'm going to work with. So the letter that I'm trying to eliminate is my 12C in each equation. So I'm going to draw a wee box around that. Now, they are both the same sign, as in they're both positive 12. So the same sign we subtract. So we're going to do equation 3, subtract equation 4. Okay, I'm just going to slide my page up a little bit here now. So we now can do equation 3, take away equation 4. So the 12C minus the 12C, well, that's 0, that's eliminated. 18S minus the 16S, well, that's going to leave me with 2S. And then 117 minus 112, well, that's going to leave me with 5. So if 2S is equal to 5, if we divide both sides by 2, we're going to get S equals 2.5. Okay. We're going to now substitute this value that we know back into equation 1. So substitute S equals 2.5 into equation number 1. So equation number 1 was 4C plus 6S equals 39. I'm just going to scroll my page up again. So we would be substituting in there instead of s, the 2.5. So that's going to give us 4c plus 6 times 2.5 equals 39. So 4c plus 6 times 2.5, that would be 15 equals 39. And then we're going to subtract 15 from both sides. So we're going to have 4c equals 24. And then we're dividing both sides by 4, which is going to give us c equals 6. Okay. Now, in these types of questions, it's really important that we answer the question. So we've found the value of s, which is 2.5, and the value of c, which is 6. So this was all about the price of these two items, okay? If we scroll back up and just look back at the question, it said find the cost of 1 bag of cement and 1 bag of sand. So we would want to answer that question. So you would just make sure that you write this out in terms of a cost. So we would write here, bag of cement. Well, that would be £6 because it's a cost. And then bag of sand. Now that's 2.5, so in terms of money, £2.50. Okay, so normally we would just write the two letters at the bottom, C equals, S equals, but because this question is set in a context, you must answer the question in the context it was given. So this question was about a cost, so you can't just write 2.5 and 6, we need it as a cost, so £6 and £2.50. Okay, remember you can always double check your answer with equation 2. Because you used equation 1 already in the substitution step, you can use equation 2 to double check that as well. So 3c plus 4s, well 3c would be 3 times 6, so that's 18. 4s would be 4 times your 250, so that's 10. So 18 and 10 is £28. So you would know that you've not made any mistakes. Okay, example 7 is my second example for this lesson. So here we have another question given in a context. So here we have in a quiz, points are awarded for correct answers and deducted for incorrect answers. The red team score 60 points with 7 correct answers and 2 incorrect answers. And the blue team scores 65 points with 8 correct answers and 3 incorrect answers. So the question is asking, how are the points awarded for each correct and incorrect answer? So we're being asked to find the value for a right answer and the value for a wrong answer. Now here, because the question tells you that points are awarded for correct answers, we would assume that that value would be a positive number. And because you're told that points are deducted for incorrect answers, we could go ahead and assume that the value for an incorrect answer is going to be a negative number, okay? Because obviously that would be points taken away for every answer that they're getting wrong. So same as we did in the last example, we're going to go ahead and assign a value to each of these unknown variables. So this time I'm actually just going to go for X and Y. You could use a C and a D. I just want to show you an example where we're using just a standard kind of generic letter. So I'm going to go for X and Y. So I'm just going to write up the top here, correct answers. I'm going to call them X, and incorrect answers, I'm going to call that Y. Okay, remember you can use any letter you want, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go for X and Y this time. So the first situation I was told was that the red team have a score of 60 points with 7 correct and 2 incorrect. So I would write that as an equation as 7x plus 2y equals 60. Okay, their total correct points and their incorrect points added up as a total is 60. So that would be my equation number 1. And then equation 2, we would get that from the blue team. So we've got a total of 65 points with 8 correct and 3 incorrect. So we would have 8x plus 3y equals 65. And that would be equation number 2. Okay, now we need to decide which letter we're going to eliminate. This time I'm going to go for the y's. So I'm going to multiply my top equation by 3 and my bottom equation by 2. That will make my y terms both a 6 in this case. Okay, so my first equation times 3, well, that's going to give me 21x plus 6y equals 180, and I'm going to now call that equation 3. And then my second equation times 2, so that's going to give me 16x plus 6y equals 130. And that's now going to be equation 4. So as I did previously, I'm going to draw a box around the letters that I'm eliminating. So it's the 6y in each equation. And we can go ahead now and work out whether we're adding or subtracting our equations. So we have a plus 6y and a plus 6y. So these are both the same sign. So we're going to go ahead and subtract. So equation 3, take away equation 4. So 21x minus the 16x, so that's going to leave me with 5x. The 6y minus the 6y, well, that's 0, so that's eliminated. And then 180 minus 130, well, that's 50. So a really simple one to solve here. We're dividing both sides by 5, so x will equal 10. So that's telling us that every correct answer is worth 10 points. Okay, we're now going to go ahead and substitute that value back into equation 1. So sub x equals 10 into equation number 1. So equation number 1 was 7x plus 2y equals 60. So I know that x is 10, so that would then become 7 times 10 plus 2y equals 60. So that's giving me 70 plus 2y equals 60. So we're solving for the y term, so we would subtract 70 from both sides. So that's going to leave us 2y equals minus 10. So then dividing both sides by 2, we'll get y equals minus 5, okay? And that makes sense because we were told points were deducted for incorrect answers. So minus 5 points for every answer that they're getting wrong. That makes sense in terms of an answer. Okay, so the question originally was asking us to figure out how the points are awarded for each correct and incorrect answer. So we need to make sure we answer that question. Okay, so we would just write at the side or underneath, correct answer is awarded 10 points and incorrect answers are awarded minus 5 points. Okay, so we've answered the question and it's in the context of the question, which was points for correct answers and incorrect answers. Okay, and then remember as well, you can double check with equation 2 if you have time at the end. So 8x plus 3y, well, 8x would be 8 times 10, so that's 80. 3y would be 3 times minus 5, so that's minus 15. 80 minus 15 is indeed 65. So it's always a good idea if you've got the time to just double check your answers when you're finished. So the questions for this lesson are as follows in the class booklet for Unit 4. It is starting on page 11, question 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 5 up to 11 and then also 18 that I would like you to do for this lesson. Okay, as usual, I will be on the Teams page. I will be on a live call. I'll be there if you've got any questions, if you want to ask me anything. Please remember as well, you can check your answers from the back of the booklets. The answers are all there as well. So you can double check your work as you go through. And then obviously if you're struggling with any questions or anything's kind of not working out as it should, you can jump onto the live call and I will be there to give you a hand. Okay, thanks very much for listening, guys, and I will speak to you soon. Bye now.